Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Marketing Uncut. My name's Jamie Gardner. Today, what I'm going to be talking about is something that I released for my Ultimate Marketing Mastermind people today on a coaching call. It is a technique I've used in my own life many times to help to change some belief patterns. And I think if you have any issues when it comes to the attraction of abundance, or perhaps you have limited thinking when it comes to sales or anything of that nature, this is going to help you out. So before I dive in though, this is the first time here, welcome. This part of my channel is really just me documenting me being online for 12 plus years, having helped hundreds of students, and really just kind of spitting bars about what it is that I do and things I'm experimenting with, and things that hopefully a couple of you will get some inspiration from, and hopefully a bit of help out with as well. Take a breath between takes, Jamie. I can't because I don't edit. That's the whole point of this part. Anyway, so I will continue with normal editing very soon. Just been not prioritizing YouTube just as much as I normally do. Anyway, so the reason why I wanted to put this out there is I remember being really broke numerous times, and some of you might know my history, but to paint some context, been involved in affiliate marketing since 2011, went bankrupt 2015, had a huge life meltdown around that time, and it was pretty hard to go through, to be perfectly honest. But on the other side of it, I started taking a real deep dive into psychology behind how we manifest things, our own belief system, and I guess the way that we operate in the world, and what we attract to ourselves, and our thoughts around abundance and health and different beliefs and things that we picked up over the years, all that type of stuff. And so the years following going bankrupt were also quite hard. I ended up having complete lack of money for many years, to be honest. And then in late 2019, life really just started to change, and I've managed to scale my business. From that point, I had my first 1K day, had my second the next day, first 10K month. I've been able to scale that to 50K months at the moment, which is really nice, in a matter of like 3-ish years, give or take. Now, here's the kind of crazy thing that happened for me when things started taking off. I remember late 2019, and basically I was in a state where I've been running ads professionally for small business, doing lead generation, things like that. And I still had a couple of clients as I was transitioning over to affiliate marketing, and I'd been pushing the affiliate stuff for quite some time. Was trying to do so many things at once. I was building out this YouTube channel, I was going live in 4 different Facebook groups every day, sending emails to my list, to multiple chatbots every day. I was trying to upkeep certain blog articles here, there, and everywhere, and you name it, answering questions on Quora, yada. The list is infinite almost. Anyway, so I was exhausted because nothing was really working. I wasn't really getting any traction, wasn't really making any consistent sales. And although I was making a few sales here and there, it kept stalling. I was like, what's going on? Anyway, so this fateful day, basically was out of cash. I had $84 left in my account. And normally what I would do on a daily basis, multiple times per day, every 10 minutes, I would check my bank account. Do I have enough to breathe today? Do I have enough to live today? Are we gonna, is there an automatic debit that I'd forgotten about that's gonna rip all my cash out of my account? So I was always carrying this fear around with me. Excuse me. This really isn't gonna be edited, by the way. And so with that in mind, I was getting desperate, and I was thinking, well, my business isn't really working. I'll probably have to go back to the workforce now. Because of the bankruptcy, I am married, but because of the bankruptcy, finances between my wife and I were very separate. I'd been borrowing money off her for a very long time. And so part of it was pride. I couldn't just say, hey, give me some extra shekels this week. I was like, I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore. It's not fair to us. I've given it a fair old crack. Probably just gonna have to go back and get a job and figure things out in the future. So anyway, with all that in mind, and I guess knowing that, well, worst case scenario is I still got a roof over my head. Wife still loves me. That's kind of cool. So there's all these things that were kind of positives, right? And so I took that into mind, and I'd seen this video from Tony Robbins, and basically go and Google it. It's actually pretty cool. It was only about 3 minutes long, but it was talking about how he gave the last of his money away, and to some young boy was taking his mum out for lunch or something like that, I think. And lo and behold, when he did that, he felt amazing. But then the very next day, a check arrived in the mail for, I think it was like $1,200 from someone that owed him some money. And so because of that, he never, ever, ever feared losing money ever again. And he said that that was the catalyst for him changing. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, I wonder how I can take that concept, I wonder how I can grab that and start to put that into my own life. And then in doing so, hopefully, maybe, just maybe, I might be able to replicate that and start this ball rolling in the right direction, so to speak. Now, based on that, I thought, how can I do this? I've got $84 left in my account. What am I meant to do? Just like give it all away? Or I thought, you know what? Look, my wife is just so unbelievably good to me. Why don't I take her out to go and do something a little bit romantic? We were going through all sorts of stresses at the time and whatnot due to the finances, and yeah, I did. I took her out, and because I'm so romantic, I'm such a hopeless romantic, I took her to the very fancy Kentucky Fried Chicken, if you will. Don't say I'm not good to you, honey, if you ever watch this. And so we had this great lunch, and we had a lot of laughs. And like I say, I cannot stress this enough, but normally I'd be on my phone, like refreshing internet banking. Is there something I've forgotten? Is there like an automatic debit? Is the bank going to just rip my funds out, and I'm going to have that humiliation of going up to the counter to pay, and there's nothing in my account? And none of that happened. I was just like at peace. And the crazy part about this was I'd also been doing some neuro-linguistic programming, and I'd been anchoring in certain times in my life where I felt very abundant into some very specific sort of touch points, things like that, on top of doing some meditations and what do you call it, that thing with the stuff, hypnotherapy around expanding my consciousness and attracting wealth, all that type of stuff. So the combination of all these things together manifested in a really, really cool way. So after we had our lunch, we went and saw a movie, and it was just a great afternoon. Had a lot of fun. And I was just letting go at that point. I thought, you know what, tomorrow's another day. Although there's no invoices due, there's no foreseeable clients on the horizon, there's no money anywhere in the universe as far as I was concerned at any point. But what I did have, one thing that I did have, and I had not even given it a consideration. I thought that I just had no idea that anything could happen from this, but I basically had a conversation with someone in Messenger, in my Facebook group, which at that time was around about 400-ish people. I just didn't know how to monetize at that time. That has certainly changed, thankfully very much. There you go, good England. And so what happened was, the very next day, so that whole thing happened, and by the end of the day I had like $32 left or whatever it was, and I was like, all right, well, let's, I'll better get on the job app sites and start applying for a few things. And the call was in the afternoon. And I hop on the call without expectation, and I took that person through a very relaxed sales process. I went through a scripting process that I had, and lo and behold, this guy said, yep, sounds good. It's what I've been looking for a little while now. I've been in your audience for a long time. I know we haven't really communicated that much, but this is it. I'd like to do that. I'm like, what, really? I mean, yeah, okay. Sounds good. Okay, let's get this sorted now then, shall we? And lo and behold, hands over $1,000 US. And the $1,000 in Australian dollars is like $1,344. And I was like running around my apartment, tears of joy. I was like, doing these crazy fist bumps to myself, and like, what's that movie from? That scene? Meatloaf. 3 points if you can get that. Anyway, I better not say the name just in case it gets sued for copyright or something like that, but you guys can. Anyway, where's it going with that? Yeah, and so all of a sudden, literally my entire world changed at that point. $1,344, I'm like, oh my God, this is the most bestest thing ever. And so here's the cool thing, is that I'd also line up a call for the next day after that. And the very next day, hop on that call with that gentleman, pays me $1,000 US. So I had $2,600 plus. I had another commission payout from another network. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, actually. I like these $1,000 days, pretty cool. And anyway, that led to my first 10K month, and then which later led to 10K days. I've had a 10K day before, it was pretty cool. And another stout. No, I didn't have another stint. I had another stint. Sorry, over 72 hours where I collected just over 20K. 72 hours, I was like, okay, this is good. Working up, ended up winning the 2 Comma Club Award. Like I say, I've scaled to 50K months now as well. For context, that's not every month. It does sort of undulate a little bit, but it's been pretty amazing to be able to hit those figures in such a small time frame in the grand scheme of things. Now, what's the relevance and the purpose of this whole story, and how can it actually help you? I'm glad you asked. Right, well, I guess a couple of things. Number one is the lesson in all this stuff here is it's never going to be as bad as we think it is. Absent of death and homelessness, right, and ill health, absent of that, it's never going to be as bad as we think it is, right? So my thoughts and my fears never really amounted to what I thought it was going to be. Even going through bankruptcy, yeah, it sucked. And there was mainly the trauma from that was stuff that I'd caused to myself anyway. And so therefore I was able to kind of go, well, hang on a minute. I've made all these decisions to get to here, which is not a very fun place. So I can make some new decisions to get over there, which in theory should be a better place. So having that freedom of understanding you are in control of your own life and your own destiny, massively powerful. I was able to then take that same train of thought and just take ultimate amounts of self-responsibility, which has been just very, very freeing. So that was the first major lesson. The other thing is, as well as, and I highly recommend you go check out, what is it? No BS Wealth Attraction in the New Economy by Dan Kennedy. As he talks about, and I don't think he actually coined this. I think this was someone else that he got this idea from. But basically the premise is, you take, say for example, 10% of your income and you put that in a wealth account, and that basically is to be invested and saved. And then you put another 10% in a gifting account and you basically just literally give it away. And it can be all sorts of things, additional tips, it can be charitable donations, it can be, you name it, whatever it is, but you have to give it away. That's the whole premise of it. And Dan suggests trying this for 90 days. I have tried it. I've been doing it ever since, actually, because every time I do give money away, I find that there's more of it that just arrives. And that was the lesson from that experience as well. Like I say, I was not wanting to spend my very last $84, by the way, but I was happy to just do something to be able to give something to someone, and that then led to that whole thing the next day. Call it divine intervention, call it like coincidence, whatever you will. It's something that I think is really, really powerful. So the other lesson in all this, for you guys in particular, is that if you are detached from needing the money, if you're detached from needing that outcome, then it means you don't have a fear about it not happening. And if you don't fear something not happening, people can read off that energy. And when they read off that energy and you're not like needy, then they're going to want to buy stuff. It's just human nature. Like, this person's super chilled out about that, so maybe I should explore this a little bit further. So look, hope that helps you guys out. The other part of the coaching call this morning is we went through this process of doing some neural linking, and I'll try and describe it here just so you guys have some context. If you go away and might end up doing something like this yourself, might help out. But basically what you do is you draw a grid, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but bear with me. But basically, if you draw a grid, like if you imagine that this is grids here, and on that grid you put money on the left-hand side. Underneath that you put make, save, and accumulate. Make, save, and accumulate. And so with that, what you're aiming to do is then think about what your core values are. And so on the top of that grid, so on the top you might have, for example, family, and you might have health, and you might have education, you might have experience, you might have fulfillment, whatever it is for you, right? Whatever your core values are. And all you're effectively doing is you're asking yourself this question: why is it important for me to have money, or to make money, sorry, for my family? One reason could be I'm able to provide a better future for them if I'm able to make it. Why is it important for me to save money for my family? So I can help them out as they get older, and I can have a better retirement. Why is it important to accumulate? Because life is going to get more and more expensive as we go through. So maybe that's what it is for you, right? And all you do is just keep drawing these neural links to each one, right? So what that means is that from a belief perspective, now all of a sudden going, oh, I wish I had some money, that would be great. Instead, you now have it anchored within you about why it's so important for you to go get it. Because all these reasons for my family. It's important for my family, important that I make money for my family so that I can be a better role model. It's important for me to save money for my family so I can help them with their future education. It's important for me to accumulate money so that I may be able to buy them better experiences as they get older as well, right? And so now all of a sudden you're linking some real powerful stuff and powerful motivating forces to this positive energy that's coming out of that. And when you do, good things start to happen because now you've got that massively anchored. And what it means is that any fear that you might have about not starting or like reaching out to someone or asking the sales question or getting on a call to see if you can help someone out disappears, because now your motivating factor is so powerful compared to your fears around the other side of that. And that's when good stuff happens. Good stuff happens. Anyway, that's it for me. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to hit the subscribe button if you're at all interested in anything marketing related. And feel free to join my group as well if you're interested. Other than that, you guys have an awesome day and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.